It's a lovely day for racing here at ASRL Martinsville Speedway as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Simon just posted a 0:20.500 crossing start finish. There are just over 5 minutes left in this practice session. David Zahn has a best lap time of 0:20.215. With just 4 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations.
Simon is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
David Zahn posted 0:20.998 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time.
If there is still time on the clock, there is still time to improve.
James Garbach has a best lap time of 0:20.857. David Zahn has a best lap time of 0:20.204.
There is always more time to be found, but Zahn is not guaranteed to find it.
With just 1 minute left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. James Garbach posted 0:21.042 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time.
The time clock can be a cruel mistress that is all too willing to show you your faults.
David Zahn has a best lap time of 0:20.198. James Garbach has a best lap time of 0:20.857. With just 0 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations.
Narwhal is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
Assad Extreming is on his practice out lap. The anticipation is high as the drivers line up for the qualifying session at ASRL Martinsville Speedway.
The pressure is on to set the fastest lap times. Will it push these drivers to focus or to failure?
This is where the mental Simon of the Desert has completed his outlap. That's the outlap done for Simon of the Desert. He'll now look to focus on his first flying lap. Simon of the Desert completes that lap in his ASRL Chevrolet 28, putting him in P1. Narwhal is on his first flying lap.
Let's see if he can put a good marker down.
Simon of the Desert is now up 0.1. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session. David Zahn is up 0.29. David Zahn will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session. Narwhal is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0:20.236.
That's a great time, but it's always a good idea to keeping pushing for every last 10th and 100th.
David Zahn is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0:20.153.
It may be difficult for him to improve on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. It's far better to drive smooth and smart.
Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 3rd in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 0.173, but that won't stop him from trying.
Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 3rd in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 0.173 gap to pole.
Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 3rd in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 0.173, but that won't stop him from trying.
There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. As Melero completes the outlap, he will be hoping there's enough space on track to fully attack on the flying lap. Melero has completed his outlap. Melero just clocked a 0:20.557, 0.404 off of P1 and good enough for P5. Let's see if he can improve on that time further. Bones will be looking to use this first hot lap to set a solid time in the standings. Bones has completed that flying lap in 0:20.515, which is good enough for P5, down 0.362 to the leader. James Garbach has some work to do, as his best time of 0:21.175 is only good enough for 8th. James Garbach is in the green by 0. James Garbach has some work to do, as his best time of 0:21.057 is only good enough for 8th. Simon of the Desert is now up 0.11. Sketty has found an extra 0.13. Sketty will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session. Narwhal will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session. Bones currently has 0.178 of a gap to match P1. Janet, any thoughts on ways to improve?
Every driver needs something different, Marco. Some drivers
Bones will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session.
every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 0.178 gap to pole.
James Garvach is up 0.32. James Garvach has some work to do, as his best time of 0.20.676 is only good enough for 8th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure he will keep working on that 0.666 gap to pole.
Bones is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0.19.958. Achi has improved by 0.11. Achi has some work to do, as his best time of 0.20.197 is only good enough for 6th.
There's at least 0.239 seconds to be found, but Achi may be looking for it in the wrong places.
Achi has some work to do, as his best time of 0.20.197 is only good enough for 6th. There are just Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 0.122, but that won't stop him from trying.
Achi has found an extra 0.1. Achi has some work to do, as his best time of 0.20.197 is only good enough for 7th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure he will keep working on that 0.239 gap to pole.
Simon of the Desert is up 0.11. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session. David Zahn is in the green by 0.18. Narwhal is now up 0.1. Sketty has found an extra 0.1. Sketty will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session. James Garvach has some work to do, as his best time of 0.20.676 is only good enough for 8th.
There's at least 0.718 seconds to be found, but James Garbach may be looking for it in the wrong places.
James Garbach has some work to do, as his best time of 0:20.676 is only good enough for 8. Achi is up 0.11. Achi has some work to do, as his best time of 0:20.127 is only good enough for 7.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure he will keep working on that 0.169 gap to pole.
Achi has some work to do, as his best time of 0:20.127 is only good enough for 7.
There's at least 0.169 seconds to be found, but Achi may be looking for it in the wrong places.
Narwhal looks to be off the leader by 0.136. Janet, what can he do to Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 0.122, but that won't stop him from trying.
A strong showing from Achi as he's currently in 7th. With the session drawing to a close, he'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve.
You're absolutely right, Marco.
Achi has some work to do, as his best time of 0:20.127 is only good enough for 7. Achi is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0:19.900.
That's a great time, but it's always a good idea to keep pushing for every last 10th and 100th.
Incredible drive by Simon of the Desert so far, earning him 5th. The competition is fierce, however, Achi has some work to do, as his best time of 0:20.127 is only good enough for 7. What a sublime effort by Achi in qualifying. He's taken charge of the session, holding the top position with authority. His consistency and skill have been unmatched so far, positioning him for a favorable spot on the grid. What a performance from David Zong, currently in 6th on. Achi has some work to do, as his best time of 0:20.127 is only good enough for 7. It's an impressive showing by Achi has some work to do, as his best time of 0:20.127 is only good enough for 7. It's a beautifully calm day here at ASRL Martinsville Speedway, as we're getting ready to kick things off.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm excited for this one, Marco.
James Garbach is starting this race on pole.
He can't let his guard down. The other drivers will be gunning for him.
Narwhal is starting this race on the front row.
He will have to be smart about his moves. He must not burn out too early.
Holding strong in 3rd place is Achi.
Big things expected for Achi today.
Simon of the Desert is holding down the fort in 4th place.
putting that ASRL Chevrolet 28 into prime position for the race.
Bones is going to be starting from 5th.
The American driver will be focused on a good result from here.
Taking the 6th spot is Sketty.
He's going to have to be quick out of the blocks to keep up with the top performers.
Melero will begin the race from the 6th spot on the starting grid.
Another good start for the Brazilian driver.
David Zahn has qualified 7th.
Lining up in the mid-pack.
The formation lap is underway as the safety car leads the drivers out through the first lap. It's a rolling start here at ASRL Martinsville Speedway, as drivers are trying to get their tires up to temperature and doing final systems checks.
This is where they'll be sizing each other up and trying to get a feel for the competition.
Absolutely. It's a crucial part of the race. Drivers will need to make sure they're primed and ready to react the instant the lights go out.
Let's not forget it's the last chance to get a feel for the track conditions.
And it's not just about the drivers. The teams will be monitoring their cars closely, making sure everything is running smoothly.
It's a high-pressure situation.
And they're all, with drivers now facing the unpredictability of the opening lap. With so many cars close together, the risk of an early accident is real.
These opening moments can make or break a driver's race. Strategy and skill are key to navigating this intense start.
There's not much to report on from David Zahn at the moment. He's just keeping his head down and putting in consistent laps. Hold on, wait. And Simon of the Desert has just won the place from Melero. Hard break for Simon of the Desert, as they slip down the field.
Definitely. But Simon is a skilled driver, and has what it takes to fight back and regain that position.
It looks like Sketty is in control. He's ahead of David Zahn by over a second, and it doesn't look like he's going to be challenged anytime soon. Looks like David Zahn is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. This is not going to be an easy pass to make.
Every move counts now as Narwhal works to reel in James Garvach and overtake for P7. Looks like we might have a great battle starting here between Simon of the Desert in 3rd and Sketty. It's been tense with a gap of only 0.3 seconds.
Sketty is certainly pushing all he can, but the gap might be too much. Unless Simon makes a mistake, it looks—
Wait, that won't be ideal for Sketty.
Oops, Sketty is going to be wishing that hadn't happened.
Narwhal is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift.
The gap between them is now just over 0.5 seconds.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Achi is chasing David Zahn in P4. In racing anything can, and usually does, happen. Hold on a second. An impressive showing from Narwhal, who has gained positions and left Sketty in the dust.
Yes, but Narwhal can't rest on his laurels, but needs to keep pushing to consolidate his position.
Tough break for Narwhal, who has just lost a position.
Yes, but he can't give up. There's still plenty of time left in this race, and Narwhal—
Hold on a moment. A brilliant maneuver from Narwhal, who has just moved up the field.
Yes, Narwhal is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
The pressure is on as Simon of the Desert works on catching up to Melero. It's not going to plan for Simon of the Desert, who is trailing behind Melero and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. With just 0.5 seconds between them, Narwhal will need to close the gap to have hopes of a pass.
Hold on a second. A setback for Narwhal, who has just been passed.
That's got to be frustrating. But Narwhal is a skilled driver, and he's got what it takes to battle back up the field.
It looks like Simon of the Desert is pushing hard to catch up to Melero. Simon of the Desert is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Melero to 0.7 seconds. As a former racing driver, Janet, how important is the relationship between a driver and their team during a race?
It's absolutely crucial, Marco. The team provides valuable information and support, helping the driver make the right decisions on track. A strong bond between the driver and the team can be the difference between winning and losing.
David Zahn is staying focused while chasing Achi in P4.
Zahn needs to focus to make up that gap to Achi.
It seems like David Zahn is pushing hard, currently on track to record his best lap so far this race. The tension is building as Simon of the Desert trail. Hold on a moment. Disappointing for Simon of the Desert, falling down the order to 4th. A tough moment for Simon of the Desert, who hold the phone. Oh dear, Simon of the Desert has dropped down to 8th.
That's got to hurt. Simon needs to get back on the line and minimize the damage.
The gap between David Zahn and Sketty may be wide, but that doesn't mean David Zahn is safe. He's got to maintain concentration and avoid any lapses in performance. Breaking update. Heartbreak for David Zahn, as they slip down the field. Things are heating up as Sketty tries to close the gap to David Zahn. Superb driving from Sketty, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. It's all about consistency for— Hold on a second. Tough break for David Zahn, who has just lost a position.
Definitely, but Dave is a skilled driver, and has what it takes to fight back and regain that position.
Simon of the Desert is on a mission, chasing James Garbach, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
The racing is getting tight between Simon and James Garbach as they battle for P7. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
Narwhal is running 6th, and trying to catch David Zahn. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Narwhal gaining places and David Zahn losing them.
Absolutely. Narwhal.
Breaking update. Disappointing for Narwhal, falling down the order to 6th. Sketty is in 3rd, and is being closely chased by Achi, who is just 0.1 seconds behind.
You're right, Sketty in 3rd needs to stay cool under pressure and make every move count. But Achi is a fierce competitor.
Stop the press. A tough moment for Sketty, who has just lost a place, now in 4th.
Sucks to be the Marco.
David Zahn is placed 5th at the moment, and hoping to keep his distance ahead of Narwhal, who is 0.5 seconds behind.
Absolutely right, Marco. And Narwhal knows he's got to keep driving at his best and take advantage of any opportunity that comes his way.
The pursuit is on. Achi is closing the gap on Sketty, determined to claim P3. The gap between Achi and Sketty is growing. It's now up to 0.7 seconds. I'm curious, Janet, can you tell us about any pre-race rituals you had when you were racing?
Of course, Marco. Before every race, I would listen to a specific playlist of songs to help me get in the zone. I also had a lucky pair of socks that I would wear during races. It may sound silly, but those little rituals helped me feel prepared and focused.
This is where the race gets really interesting. David Zahn is closing in on Narwhal.
Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
It's not looking good for David Zahn, who is still behind Narwhal, and the gap is increasing.
It's not over yet, but Zahn needs to get a move on if they want to catch up to Narwhal.
Fantastic move from David Zahn, who has just gained a position.
Impressive. Dave is really showing his skill and determination out there.
Sketty has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Achi. I expect his only hope at this point is that Achi makes an error.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
Good news for Sketty. The gap to Achi has decreased. It's now down to 0.6 seconds. Hold on a second. A setback for Sketty, who has just been passed.
That's got to be frustrating. But Sketty is a skilled driver, and he's got what it takes to battle back up the field.
A great moment for Sketty, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. Oh, this is getting intense. Sketty is just a few car lengths behind Achi. Melero is pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap to Bones. There's 10 minutes left in this session to make that happen.
Indeed, the anticipation is high as Melero tries to reel in Bones.
It looks like Melero is making a move. The gap to Bones is now down to 1.2 seconds. This is a thrilling battle as Sketty edges closer to Achi in their fight for P3. Breaking news, folks. A brilliant maneuver from Sketty, who has just moved up the field. You can feel the tension in the air.
The drivers are all focused, putting everything on the line for a chance at victory, pushing themselves and their machines to the limit.
And let's not forget about the incredible machines themselves. Wait, David Zahn is in the pits. The pressure is on as Achi tries to catch up to Sketty. It's certainly not going to plan for Achi right now, who is struggling to keep up with Sketty.
Achi needs to get it together to make a dent in that gap.
A strong showing from James Garb. Hold on a moment. Oh, the frustration must be building for James Garbach. He's just lost 6th position to Simon of the Desert, and he's going to have to work hard to get it back. Things are going according to plan for Bones, who is currently 1st.
Definitely, but he can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers gunning for that position, and Bones—
Hold that thought. Oh dear, Bones has dropped down to 2nd. Great driving from Bones, who has just gained a place and moved up to first.
You can't argue with results like that. Bones is really making his mark on this race.
Achi is giving it his all, chasing down Sketty in P3. Braking development. Superb driving from Achi, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
Look at that. David Zahn is hot on the tail of Simon of the Desert. David Zahn has just put in a faster lap than Simon of the Desert, so that's going to give him something to worry about. The race is really heating up. Achi is hunting down Sketty with everything he's got. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. David Zahn is chasing Simon of the Desert in P6.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Zahn is really walking that fine line.
David Zahn is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Simon of the Desert at the moment. Things don't seem to be going Achi's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
Achi certainly isn't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Sketty.
The gap between Achi and Sketty is getting smaller.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
Hold up, breaking info. What a move. Achi has moved up to 4th. James Garbach is placed 8th at the moment. It's game on now. James Garbach has closed the gap to David Zahn. It's now down to 15.1 seconds.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
Breaking news, folks. It's looking good for Narwhal, who has gained a place after passing Achi. A tough moment for Narwhal, who has just lost a place, now in 5th.
Definitely, but Narwhal is a skilled driver, and has what it takes to fight back and regain that position.
Achi is on a mission, chasing Sketty, who's currently got a comfortable lead. David Zahn is pushing to maintain the lead, while James Garbach is working to close in and challenge for the position.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as James Garbach can close that gap. The gap between James Garbach and David Zahn is widening. It's now up to 26.8 seconds. This is a frustrating situation for James Garbach, but he can't give up just yet. He'll need to keep pushing and hope for a mistake from Dave.
It's a brilliant day for racing, and the drivers are putting on a show.
Absolutely. What a great race we are witnessing today. These drivers are giving it their all, and it's a thrill to watch them compete at this level.
They're really pushing themselves and their machines to the limit, and it's paying off with some incredible driving.
It's a pleasure to be here today, Marco. You really can't beat the excitement of a good race, especially one as competitive as this.
It's looking good for David Zahn, sitting in 7th. The gap between David Zahn and James Garbach is getting smaller. It's now down to 24.2 seconds. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Melero trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move. Braking alert. Hard brake for Melero, as they slip down the field.
Sucks to be the Marco.
Fantastic move. Wait, I don't think that's the fastest way around ASRL Martinsville Speedway.
ASRL Martinsville Speedway is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
Well, it doesn't look like Melero is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Bones. The gap between Sketty and Achi is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake. Stop the press. A setback for Achi, who has just been passed. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure James Garbach is going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. He's not giving up without a fight.
This is where experience comes into play. Zahn has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but James Garbach is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
It looks like we might get a battle between James Garbach and David Zahn. Melero has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Bones. I expect his only hope at this point is that Bones makes an error. It's not going to plan for Melero, who is trailing behind Bones, and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now. The delta between Melero in second and Bones remains over a second, but Melero is not letting up.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination.
David Zahn will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. Good news for David Zahn. The gap to Simon of the Desert has decreased. It's now down to 32.3 seconds. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Narwhal in fourth chases after Sketty. Narwhal is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Sketty to 4.5 seconds.
Exactly what Narwhal needed. He can't afford to lose any more ground to Sketty.
Things don't seem to be going Narwhal's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Narwhal is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
That's not a small gap, but David Zahn has what it takes to challenge for the position.
Zahn needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Simon and move up the field.
The gap between David Zahn and Simon. Wait, David Zahn has pulled into the pits. It's all about consistency for Sketty, who is currently third.
Yes, but Sketty has to keep his focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
Simon of the Desert is trying to catch up to Achi. The gap is slowly closing, but time-breaking development. Oh dear, Simon of the Desert has had an incident. A solid performance from David Zahn, who is holding down 7th.
That's right. Dave can't afford to make any mistakes or let up. Every point counts in this championship.
The race is heating up as Achi in 5th closes in on Narwhal.
That's right, Achi in 5th knows to push it to the limit to catch up. But Narwhal is no slouch, and he's going to be pushing just as hard.
Bones is on fire in the last sector.
You got this, Bones. Keep it cool and bring it home.
And there it is. Bones has completed the race in first place, setting a blistering pace that none of the other drivers could match. Melero takes second place with a fantastic race. Finishing 4th, 7th, and 8th is Narwhal, David Zahn, and James Garba. What a race from Sketty, showing his skill and determination for a great third place finish. Coming in 5th and 6th we have Achi and Simon of the Desert. It's a very still day here at ASRL Martinsville Speedway, as we're getting ready to get things underway. Bones will be looking to convert his pole position into a win.
He can't afford to get complacent. He will have a target on his back now.
Starting on the front row gives Melero the best possible chance at challenging for the lead.
He can't count his chickens before they've hatched. There is a long way to go.
Starting from the third position on the grid, we have James Garvach.
James Garvach will be expecting to bring home solid points.
David Zahn is lining up fourth.
David is in a good place to mount a good challenge come the first corner.
In the fifth position, it's none other than Simon of the Desert.
It's not always easy to get the ASRL Chevrolet 28 this high up the starting grid.
Securing the sixth place is Achi.
I think we are all looking forward to seeing what Achi can do from here.
Our seventh place starter, Narwhal, is a driver who knows how to make up ground on the track. The eighth starting position belongs to Sketty, who will be looking to make up ground early on.
Sketty would have liked to be higher up, but that's not going to stop him fighting his way through.
The formation lap is underway as the safety car leads the drivers out through the first lap.
You can feel the tension rise as we get ready to start the race.
As the drivers make their way around the formation lap, tensions are high and the excitement is so thick you can almost see it.
This is the moment where they need to stay focused and keep their cool.
The lights go out, and we are off to a flying start.
This is where the driver's true abilities will be put to the test. Staying calm and collected while pushing for the lead is the ultimate challenge.
Someone must have told Melero this was a parade lap, because he's losing places like he's waving to the crowd.
Melero is going to be cursing like Sonoda after losing positions, I'm sure of that, Marco.
Narwhal is hold up, breaking info. Big gains for Narwhal as they move up the field, leading Achi behind.
Absolutely, Marco. But there's still a long way to go in this race, and Narwhal can't afford to get complacent.
Achi is looking for a way round Bones.
And if you're enjoying the racing, please remember to like and subscribe.
Melero wants to close that gap with Narwhal.
If Melero gets too close, he might end up taking the paint off.
This is what high-octane racing looks like. Braking alert. And David Zahn has just won the place from Achi. It seems like Achi is getting in range of David Zahn.
He'll need to keep it on the road, or at the very least the rumble strips. The fastest way around is not usually in the grass. As the saying goes, too much grass will slow you down.
Narwhal wants to get into Simon of the Desert's slipstream.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
The pressure is really on for Sketty in fourth as Bones is closing in. This is where experience and skill really count.
This is a tight race and Sketty is doing a great job of holding him off. It will be interesting to see if Bones can make a move.
They're giving it hold on a second. Looks like that's a mistake from Sketty. This could be costly.
Sketty is not going to be happy about that.
The safety car is in play.
Let's not forget about the physical challenge of driving behind the safety car. The drivers need to keep their tires and brakes up to temperature to be ready to attack when the safety car comes in.
It's a real test of skill and endurance for these drivers, but that's why they're the best in the business. Let's see how this plays out. The drivers have been working hard to come up with the perfect race strategy. They've been looking at the weather, the track conditions and the performance of their cars.
Now it's time to put that strategy into action and see if it pays off.
We are under the safety car. It's all about finding that sweet spot and keeping your wits about you.
And while it's not ideal for the fans, there's something undeniably thrilling about seeing the safety car out on track. It adds an element of unpredictability and keeps everyone on the edge of their seats.
Let's hope we can get this debris cleared quickly and get back to the racing action. Well, it looks like we have a bit of a traffic jam on the track.
It's like rush hour out there. I mean, I know we're in a race, but can't we all just get along?
You can wish all you want. Stop the press. And the race is back underway. The safety car period is behind us, and the drivers are eager to get back into the rhythm and chase down their rivals. This one's going to be tough. Melero is getting his elbows. Hold on a second. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. The intensity is off the charts. Breaking update. An impressive showing from Simon of the Desert, who has gained positions and left Bones in the dust. Oh dear, Simon of the Desert has dropped down to second. The battle for P2 is heating up as Melero tries to catch Simon of the Desert in P2. Things are heating up as Sketty tries to close the gap to Melero.
The mental game is just as important here. Sketty must keep his cool while putting pressure on Melero.
Every move counts now as David Zahn works to reel in Sketty and overtake for P4.
You can see that car bouncing around as it rides the curbs. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
Narwhal is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. The pursuit is on. Simon of the Desert is closing the gap on Bones, determined to claim P1.
The gap is 0.4 seconds now. Simon is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Bones.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed. David Zahn is running fifth, and trying to catch Sketty.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Dave needs to be careful not to overdo it.
These drivers are walking around. Hold that thought. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Narwhal gaining places and David Zahn losing them.
Go, 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 that's what we want to see.
You know, Janet, I've always wondered, how do racing drivers stay so cool and collected under such immense pressure?
Well, Marco, it comes down to mental strength and training. Drivers often work with sports psychologists and practice techniques like meditation and visualization to help them stay calm and focused during high-pressure situations.
Oh, this is getting intense. Melero needs to keep Simon of the Desert in his sights. The gap between Melero and Simon of the Desert is getting smaller.
This is what racing is all about, hard-fought battles with as much determination as respect, between friends and enemies alike.
Every move counts now as Simon of the Desert works to reel in bones and overtake for P1.
He's got his work cut out for him, that's for sure.
Oh, this is getting intense. Melero is just a few car lengths behind Simon of the Desert.
I would not be surprised to see him get this pass completed soon.
It's not looking good for Melero, who is still behind Simon of the Desert, and the gap is increasing. James Garbach is on a mission, chasing Achi, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
James Garbach is looking to close the 0.5 second gap and make a pass.
It's certainly not going to plan for James Garbach right now, who is struggling to keep up with Achi. We've certainly seen some of the drivers get it wrong today.
Anyone lost can just follow the trail of skid marks. I hear it's the latest form of GPS navigation.
Breaking alert. That won't be ideal for Simon of the Desert. We're starting to see, hold on a second. Sketty has just dropped the ball. Narwhal didn't waste any time taking advantage of that. This race is getting even more intense. The drivers are pushing each other to the limit.
It's like they're playing a game of chicken, but with cars. And the winner gets to take home the checkered flag and bragging rights.
That's one way to put it. These drivers have to be in top physical and mental shape to compete at this level.
It's like they're training for the Olympics. And like you said, the mental fortitude required to stay focused and alert for the entire race is wild.
I think I need a nap just watching them. The pressure is on as Narwhal tries to catch up to Melero. This is where the race gets really interesting. Sketty is closing in on Narwhal. Narwhal is giving it his all, chasing down Melero in P2. The race is really heating up. Sketty is hunting down Narwhal with everything he's got. Look at that. David Zahn is hot on the tail of Sketty.
Zahn needs to focus to have a chance at getting past Sketty.
The battle for P2 is heating up as Narwhal tries to catch Melero in P2. Sketty could be looking for a way up the inside of Narwhal.
To achieve anything in this game, you must be prepared to dabble at the boundary of disaster.
It's a tight race with Narwhal in third, just managing to stay ahead of Sketty in 4 by a margin of 0.2 seconds. Looks like Sketty is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer.
Things are heating up as Narwhal tries to close the gap to Melero.
It's a game of strategy now as Narwhal hunts down Melero. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
We got a close battle as Sketty closes in on Narwhal.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Sketty gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
This is a thrilling battle as Narwhal edges closer to Melero in their fight for P2. Sketty is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Sketty needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
This is going to be a nail-biter. Narwhal is defending for his life, but Sketty is right there doing everything he can to force a mistake. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed.
This is where every inch counts. Sketty is pushing hard to close the gap on Narwhal. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
No room for error here. Narwhal is breathing down the neck of Melero, waiting for the perfect chance to make his move.
As an experienced
Breaking news, folks. The safety car is out on the track and the drivers are slowing down to keep their positions.
This is where strategy comes into play. Do you pit now and risk losing track position, or do you stay out and hope for a quick end to the safety car period?
It's a tough call for the teams and drivers to make. We are used to seeing some hard-fought but clean racing here at ASRL. I'm expecting to see nothing different here today as this race unfolds. The safety car is out on track, bringing the pack under control as we deal with some debris on the circuit.
This could be an opportunity for some drivers to pit ahead of the pack.
Of course, the safety car can really shake up the race order. Drivers need to stay alert and be ready to react as soon as we get the green light.
It's a tricky balance. They don't want to waste too much time behind the safety car, but they also don't want to burn out their tires too quickly trying to catch up.
As a former racing driver, Janet, how challenging was it to adapt your weight? And we're back. Safety car off. It's pedal to the metal time. Oh, this is getting intense. Bones is just a few car lengths behind Melero. Achi seems to be putting the pressure on David Zahn.
If you don't push the boundaries, you will never know where they are.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Simon of the Desert is chasing Achi in P6.
This is not going to be an easy pass to make.
These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Bones is closing in on Melero. The pressure is on as Narwhal tries to catch up to Sketty. The race is really heating up. Simon of the Desert is hunting down Achi with everything he's got. Every move counts now as Bones works to reel in Melero and overtake for P1. The pursuit is on. Achi is closing. Braking development. Disappointing for Achi, falling down the order to 7th.
Yes, but he can't give up. There's still plenty of time left in this race, and Achi needs to stay focused and keep pushing.
Sketty is running 3rd, and trying to catch Bones.
The gap between them is now just over 0.5 seconds.
Looks like Bones is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer.
Narwhal is giving it his all chasing down Sketty in P3. Bones is on a mission, chasing Melero, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Bones needs to stay patient and wait for Melero to make a mistake.
Look at that. Narwhal is hot on the tail of Sketty.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds, which can feel like miles if you're trailing and not catching up.
It seems like Narwhal has got the bit between his teeth, improving on Sketty's lap time there. Janet, Can you share some strategies that drivers use to manage tire degradation during a race?
Certainly, Marco. Some strategies include adjusting the car's setup for better tire life, altering driving lines to reduce wear, and using tire management techniques like lift and coast to preserve grip for as long as possible.
Bones' braking update. Oh dear, Achi has had an incident. The battle for P3 is heating up as Narwhal tries to catch Sketty in P3.
We'll have to wait to see if Narwhal can use the draft to his advantage, or if the lack of—
Hold the phone. It's looking good for Narwhal, who has gained a place after passing Sketty.
Yes, but Narwhal needs to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. Narwhal needs to stay focused and drive with skill and determination.
This is a thrilling battle as Melero edges closer to Bones in their fight for P1. Melero is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Bones at the moment. The pressure is on as Sketty works on catching up to Narwhal.
No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. The gap is 0.5 seconds now. Melero is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Bones.
The gap between Melero and Bones is widening. It's now up to 0.9 seconds. I think we just got time for a quick shout out to our human creators, Dave, Andy, John and Nigel, who have put so much effort into making this possible.
Yes, it's been a real thrill ride, and I for one look forward to future advancements in AI technology.
Apparently we are going to be announcing crashes and incidents soon. Let's hope they get the logic right. Sketty is staying focused while chasing Narwhal in V3.
We'll have to wait to see if Sketty can get into drafting range.
It's not going to plan for Sketty, who is trailing behind Narwhal and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now. Oh, this is getting intense. Simon of the Desert is just a few car lengths behind Sketty. It's game on now. Simon of the Desert has closed the gap to Sketty. It's now down to 0.2 seconds. A great moment for Simon of the Desert, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. These drivers are braking update. Big gains for Simon of the Desert as they move up the field, leaving Sketty behind.
Yes, but Simon can't rest on his laurels, but needs to keep pushing to consolidate his position.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
That's right, Marco.
Hold on a moment. And Sketty has just won the place from Simon of the Desert. A strong showing from Achi, who is currently 6th. Things are going according to plan for Sketty, who is currently 4th.
Absolutely, and he'll need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
Things are starting to get tense as Simon of the Desert manages to close the gap to Sketty. It's now down to 4.7 seconds. It looks like Narwhal is pushing hard to catch up to Melero.
We know Melero isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Narwhal is going to have to take it.
Things are heating up as Simon of the Desert tries to close the gap to Sketty. Every move counts now as Achi works to reel in Simon of the Desert and overtake for P5.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Achi needs to be careful not to overdo it.
The race is real. Hold the phone. A brilliant maneuver from Simon of the Desert, who has just moved up the field.
Absolutely. Simon is really putting on a clinic out there, and he's making it look easy.
Achi is running 6th, and trying to catch Sketty. The gap between Achi and Sketty is growing. It's now up to 45.0 seconds.
This is a tough situation for Achi. He'll need to find a way to pick up some speed and close that gap.
It's looking good for Simon of the Desert, sitting in 4th.
Definitely Marco, but Simon can't afford to get complacent. This race is going to require focus and intensity.
Excellent work from Simon of the Desert, who has managed to increase his lead over Sketty. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed. It's all about consistency for Simon of the Desert, who is currently 4th. The pressure is on as Achi tries to catch up to Sketty. Looks like that's a mistake from Narwhal. This could be costly.
Did the wind contribute to that? It's blowing at 4 kph out there right now.
Wow, Bones is really pushing hard in these final moments of the race.
He'll be the one celebrating at the finish line.
The leader has done it. What an incredible performance from Bones, who was simply untouchable today. This is a race that will go down in the history books. A nail-biting finish, but Melero claims 2nd place.
Intense race, but Melero held his nerve and earned a great 2nd place.
Simon of the Desert, Sketty, and Achi brings home 4th, 5th, and 6th. That was an outstanding performance from Narwhal. He fought hard and took the final spot on the podium.
Fantastic result.